During their meeting at Royal Hospital Chelsea, Kate asked the pair to briefly speak about themselves. Colonel Blum introduced himself, touching upon his youth in the run-up to his fight in World War II. He said, "Well, I was a Pimlico boy and I was called up for the army. I was actually called up to Aberdeen. Then I was selected for commissioning, and I went to Sandhurst." Kate lightened the mood, speaking about her own indirect knowledge of the Royal Academy in Berkshire, where all officers in the British Army are trained. She said, "It was probably tougher then than it was when my husband did it, but I've heard a lot about Sandhurst." Joking, Colonel Blum said, "It had its moments." Kate chuckled as she commented, "I am sure." William joined the academy after graduating from St Andrews University, where he had met Kate in 2001. He was commissioned as an army officer in December 2006. His graduation marked one of the first major public events Kate attended as the Duke's girlfriend. At the academy, she was also joined by her beloved parents, Carole and Michael Middleton, and the Queen. While her chat with Colonel Blum and Emily was filled with heartwarming and funny moments, it was also deeply moving. Kate was left visibly saddened when hearing how Colonel Blum lost a friend in conflict just 2 days before the war ended. Asked why remembrance is so important to him, he said, "I have to say I lost a few friends. One in particular I remember, he was killed a day or two before the war ended. That, I must say, affected me quite a bit. You wrote to their families to say how sorry you were to have to tell them about this." Kate asked, "This time of the year, is it lovely for you to reflect on not only the time that you served but also on your friends and loved ones that you sadly lost?" Colonel Blum simply replied, "Yes, very much so." The Duchess, who became co-president of the Scout Association earlier this year, was also impressed by Emily and her knowledge about the war and the meaning behind remembrance events. Moreover, Emily taught the veteran and the Duchess how to make a handmade red remembrance poppy. Commenting on hers, Kate said, "Emily, yours is far more beautiful than mine." At the end of their meeting, Kate acknowledged the Scouts' commitment to remembering the fallen through activities and attending events and awarded her the Scout Remembrance Badge. Mr. Knauf provided a written witness statement as Associated Newspapers appealed against the High Court's ruling over the publication of extracts from Meghan's handwritten letter to her father Thomas Markle Sr. 3 judges presided over the hearings between November 9 and November 11, and have now retired to consider their judgment on the appeal against Lord Justice Warby's previous ruling. In his statement unveiled on Wednesday, Mr. Knauf presented email and text exchanges with the Duchess of Sussex dating back to 2018 and claimed Meghan wrote her letter to Mr. Markle in August 2018 with the understanding that it could be leaked. In her written evidence to the court, Meghan denied she thought it likely that her father would leak the letter, but merely recognized that this was a possibility. Referring to the authors of the biography on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Finding Freedom, Mr. Knauf also said Harry and Meghan authorized specific cooperation in writing in December 2018. Mr. Knauf said, "The book was discussed directly with the Duchess multiple times in person and over email." He also said she provided helpful written background reminders and briefing notes for when you sit down with authors Omid Scobie and Caroline Durant. In her own statement heard by the court, Meghan apologized, saying she had not remembered these exchanges. She added, "I had absolutely no wish or intention to mislead the defendant or the court." On Thursday, after more documents were released, it emerged Associated Newspapers was contacted by a confidential source close to Mr. Knauf after the February ruling by Lord Justice Warby in Meghan's favor. Prior to the judgment, Mr. Knauf's legal team had told Associated Newspapers his position was strictly neutral and he did not want to be involved in the litigation. However, Keith Matheson, a solicitor for the British publisher, said that following the ruling the source told Associated Newspapers in July Mr. Knauf now regretted not providing a witness statement to us. The solicitor said, "It did indeed turn out that, since the summary judgment had deprived Mr. Knauf of the opportunity to provide evidence at a trial, he now wished to provide a witness statement to the parties so that his evidence could be considered as part of the appeal. Mr. Matheson also said, Mr. Knauf was plainly a central figure in the events he describes. He was a senior and trusted member of the royal household staff, and he continues to occupy an important position as CEO of the Royal Foundation. His witness statement is measured in tone, and he has been careful not to include evidence of matters beyond his own personal knowledge. Given the high-profile nature of this litigation and the likelihood of his evidence, if admitted, being widely reported, as well as the position he holds, it is hardly conceivable that he would say anything he did not believe to be true, and I know of nothing in his evidence which is subject to any reasonable challenge. Mr. Knauf joined Kensington Palace as Communications Secretary to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry in 2015. He became also Meghan's aide after she officially joined the royal family, and remained in this role until 2019. In March 2019, Mr. Knauf led a review of the Royal Foundation TMS role and structure before becoming CEO in September of that year. He will stand down as CEO of the foundation at the end of December 2021. Meghan sued in October 2019 Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Mail on Sunday, Daily Mail and Mail Online, over the publication of 5 articles in February 2019 including extracts of her private letter to her estranged father. She claimed these stories misused her private information, infringed her copyright and breached the Data Protection Act. The High Court ruled in her favor with a summary judgment, which meant no trial was held, said the publication of the extracts of this letter was manifestly excessive and hence unlawful. Giving a ruling in February, the judge said the majority of the content published was about Meghan's behavior, her feelings of anguish about her father's behavior, as she saw it, and the resulting rift between them. He added, "These are inherently private and personal matters." Appealing to this ruling, Associated Newspapers is arguing the privacy, copyright and data protection case involving the letter from Meghan to her father should be sent to trial. Justin Rushbrook QC, who represents Meghan, spoke against it, saying, "To permit the defense to go to trial would have only facilitated further invasions of the claimant TMS privacy, all flowing from its publication of a private and deeply personal letter, whilst giving the defendant the opportunity to profit handsomely from the media circus that would inevitably result." Express.co.uk readers can vote in our poll below. And let us know more about what you think in the comments section. Our poll comes after Meghan, who is living in California with Prince Harry after quitting royal duties last month, wrote to members of the Congress and Senate calling for paid leave for new parents in America. The Duchess said she was writing the letter to House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer as a mom and on behalf of millions of American families. The former Suits actress signed off the note as Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And earlier this month, Meghan phoned Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine and West Virginia's Shelley Moore Capito last week to advocate for paid family leave. Senator Collins told Politico, "Much to my surprise, she called me on my private line and she introduced herself as the Duchess of Sussex, which is kind of ironic." The US is the only wealthy nation offering no national paid parental leave program. However, Meghan has sparked accusations she is using her royal title to interfere in American politics. Members of the royal family traditionally do not become involved in politics. The Sunday Times cited a palace aide as saying the Duchess was using her title out of context with the move, while another described the intervention as outrageous. A source close to Meghan told the newspaper she contacted members of Congress in her personal capacity as an engaged citizen. Appearing at an event last night, the Duchess insisted the issue of paid leave is humanitarian. Meghan took part in the New York Times Dealbook Online Summit to discuss how women can reach economic and professional parity. During the 30-minute session called Minding the Gap, she was asked if she has any anxiety about getting involved in politics. The Duchess replied, "I don't see this as a political issue, frankly. Look, there is certainly a precedent amongst my husband's family, and the royal family of not having any involvement in politics, but I think this is. I mean, paid leave, from my standpoint, is just a humanitarian issue. Meghan and Harry quit royal duties last year for a new life in California. The couple agreed to stop using their HRH titles as part of Megxit, but they continue to be known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.